to RPG Book Club, the podcast where we play a little bit of a video game and talk about how it makes us feel. I am Sam Allman.
I'm Elias Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddy Grace Webben, although I think this time we play a lot of a video game.
Yeah. This was... It's you're not going to be able to tell because this is going to be one of the shortest episodes of Septerra Core. But the second half of this week was a whole half of this week, and it's maybe 3 cutscenes. It was a big ass, long ass, dumbass dungeon.
Yep.
But before we get to all of that, how is everyone's week? Nothing exciting happened in the first week of 2021, right? Nothing,
2021 is off to the fucking races. I know that people were all like, oh, we made it through 2020. This hell year's over. And people kept saying, like, why do people keep saying it's a hell year? There's nothing magical about the year. The problems are still going to be there. And I'm like, dude, people place spiritual importance on dates and stuff. It's a symbolic thing. We all know this. But, we all knew it was going to keep being the way it is, right? But I don't think any of us could have expected just how exciting the first 11 days of this year have been. Holy fuck.
Remember silly us when we recorded 7 days ago and we were like, Bean Dad is so fucked up and it's so funny that this is what we're starting with and yada, yada, yada. This is 2021 off to the races.
Bean Dad was 10 years ago.
Yeah, now 2021 has handed us its Pabst Blue Ribbon, and it's currently teetering on top of the next door neighbor's fence, swearing he can make it to the top of the garage. That's what's going on.
Yeah, honestly, here's my opinion on the recent events. If you're listening to this out of order, in case you're curious, the recent events we're talking about, I know that you'll be aware of them, but there's so many events. So here's what particular horrible things we're talking about. We're talking about the week when I think something important happened on. Oh, right. First of all, the Democrats won their Georgia Senate runoff, which was very surprising. And I will admit I had to eat my hat because I've been dunking on how it's stupid and they're going to get owned and the Democrats are wasting their time and everyone's money. I'm not saying I wanted that to happen, but that's what I've been saying. I eat my hat. They won. I was wrong. And that's an objectively good thing, which is wild. Since when did those things happen?
Yes.
That was Tuesday. And then Wednesday, every single middle class suburban car dealership owner in Dallas stormed the U.S. Capitol like the fucking Bastille. They stormed in. They were like, we're going to do a coup because of Trump. But the problem is there was no plan or action. And Trump Trump is not some brilliant, Trump is not some Robespierre or Napoleon, so he's just like, okay. And then they milled about for a bit and broke some stuff, and then they left, and none of them face consequences because they're white. Okay, so that's Wednesday. What happened on Thursday?
On Thursday, the most important thing happened this week. President Donald J. Trump lost access to Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and Spotify and Instagram and Twitch and literally the second battle.
He's got left is Tumblr, and Tumblr won't have him. I don't mean the site, I mean the people on Tumblr.
The second battle of the Civil War that is apparently going on here in 2021 was a forums flame war where Donald Trump tried to ban evade for 24 hours to get around all of his internet bans, and it was great.
It was extremely funny. But also, though, just for a second, pour one out for the greatest poster in the history in American history, the greatest poster of all time. He will never be defeated. He was the main character of the internet for 4 years. 5 years, really. And as much as people tried to deny it, he wasn't. Also, he made some of the greatest tweets of all time, such as when that one guy was looking terrible, nipples protruding, at the Senate today, or saying that Kelly Orr is no longer hot.
Who can forget Kofefe?
And also wishing everyone, even the haters and losers, a happy, very special day, 9/11. Thursday was
one
hilarious.
One of my favorite tweets that came out on Thursday was it was a screenshot of a tweet where Trump thanked someone for their service for being a patriot and had retweeted them. And so on Twitter, when you retweet, it includes their @ and their @ was cat penis. So it's like cat penis. Thank you for your service.
I saw that one. That was a really, really, really good one. Here it is. Look, @cat penis : @real Donald Trump. I respect your integrity, sir. Rock on. And of course, who can forget? Robert Pattinson should not take back Kristen Stewart. She cheated on him like a dog and will do it again. Just watch. He can do much better.
Oh my God.
So good.
So that was Thursday. What happened on Friday?
I kept expecting things to happen on Friday. The main thing that happened on Friday is our homeboy Jamal Bowman, first day on the Senate, he drafted a bill where basically they have to vote on it is white supremacy and the shitty police that led to Wednesday's attacks, and like made the conversation be what the conversation should be about, and not just angry protesters or whatever. Everyone's trying to do it. So like he passed a bill, so it has to come up on the Senate, which is like. I didn't think that these things would like start to ever happen, and they probably won't like actually get traction. But the fact that like first day on the job, Jamal Bowman was like, "All right, let's start actually talking about shit that's important."
You never thought it would happen, but then Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, aka the two people who are doing the cool things this week, are the ones who did it. So you're right. That kind of thing would never happen until DSA got 2 of the members elected into Congress.
Hell yeah!
Shout out to New York City DSA. I have to admit, you're the best chapter. They got Jamal Bowman elected pretty much through their strong. I mean, not to disparage everyone else who worked on the campaign, but they really threw down for Jamal extremely hard. Shout outs to Jamal. Shout outs to Cori Bush. Very poggers of them. Oh wait, no, poggers is bad now.
Poggers is gone. I forgot.
R.I.P. Poggers.
That's another thing that happened this week. Yeah.
Eli, did you hear about the death of poggers?
What? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
So you know when you're watching GDQ and someone does something really great, and then there's the picture of the dude who has his mouth like super wide open, like, oh my god,
yeah,
Twitch.
PogChamp.
That Twitch is called PogChamp.
And now teens are always like, yo, that's so poggers, or yo, that's so pogged up.
I wondered what the fuck poggers meant. Like, I keep trying to look it up, and it gives me zero
brains
answers.
are all broken by Twitch streamers.
Yeah,
okay. I mean, my brain's broken by Twitter, so I get it.
And so that the person whose face that is some Twitch guy. I don't know. I don't follow Twitch when GDQ's not on. But he was like, hell yeah, all these patriots that stormed the Capitol, yippee-ki-yay. And so Twitch was like, okay, well, that emote's banned now, so no one can use that emote. We'll make a new PogChamp. And it's been dope.
Yep. Also, a guy. Okay, I will admit it is actually really sad that he died. It's sad when people die, even the people we don't like. If they're not people who are politicians, that's fine. If politicians we don't like die, but when regular people in America die, it is actually sad because they have been led astray by evil men. Anyway, however, it is extremely funny when someone dies because they tased themselves in the balls until they died.
Wait. Is that what happened?
One of the castle stormers, died via ball tasing. Tased himself in the balls.
What the fuck?
Like, it's against my morals to laugh at this, but it's so fucking funny.
Wow.
And then, so tech companies started cracking down so hard against the right that it kind of went from being funny to being a little upsetting. Because I kind of see it as a little bit of like the neoliberal technocracy, like closing ranks, and like they will do that to anyone on the left as soon as they get the opportunity.
I'm sorry, I need to jump in real quick on that because I just looked it up on Google and the first thing it came up was Snopes. And it says that it's false that a man died from a heart attack after tasing himself in the balls.
Here's the thing, though. Snopes source might be the recent interview given with the wife, which extremely comes off as, like, trying to convince people that her husband didn't tase himself in the balls. He did die.
I don't know.
Well, yeah.
The interview is quite funny. She's like, no, my husband absolutely did not tase himself in the balls until he died. But, like, if you're that guy's wife, you would say that, right? Like, you would say that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to believe.
I just feel it's important to get all sides of the story on something like this.
on ball tasing.
I typically trust Snopes pretty well.
That's true. If it was like not actually sure, they'd be like, we don't know yet. Which is what I thought. I thought the story, like currently, I thought the current verdict was we don't actually know yet, but maybe it's tipped in the last few hours from we don't know to. Actually, it's false. But yeah, anyway, I think it's a little upsetting that tech companies are just like, yeah, any speech that we're considering not something that we want in our polite Jeff Bezos sponsored society is not going to be okay, because there's a lot of things that could be considered. So, that's the thing. But also, it is funny that they banned Donald Trump from Twitter.
Yeah, on that particular thing, I think that the line as it is right now is, did you participate in trying to overthrow the American government? And as long as that's the line, I'm fine with blowing up all of their spaces.
That's not true, though, because a lot of people, like, they started going really crazy. Like, a lot of people got banned from Twitter, and it started – at first it was like, I don't know, like one of those alt-right chuds who's like literal Proud Boys, right? But then it was like shitty right-wing commentators. And then it was Red Scare, a leftist podcast, which is admittedly very politically incorrect, and I don't follow them, though I do kind of respect them. But I don't follow them because they have too many bad takes. They got banned from Twitter, right? So it's like, I don't know. I'm not saying it definitely sucks. I'm saying it's a developing story.
That one could... but also in the you have to remember that Twitter in 2020 released a non-chronological Twitter feed and also fleets. So maybe they only had dynamite when they needed a chisel, and so they just like searched for like Patriot in their
that could be true.
Twitter bio
that could be true. That could be true.
That had it.
Anyway, it's a complicated situation, but let's just try to make sure that we don't accidentally let tech companies establish fiefdoms in the ruins of America. So
yeah. Yeah, a lot of the good takes this week has been like, wow, it's kind of crazy that these privately owned social media companies are the fourth branch of government this week. So kudos to that.
And then today there was one final story. Did you see the final story from today, this morning?
No.
This morning, someone found out that this morning, I guess someone has like a bot that tells them when things update, right? News people were like, yeah, so the U.S. Department of State Department updated their page on President Donald Trump that says that he resigned on that he was no longer that he was no longer president as of January 11th, 2021 at like 7 p.m.
Oh shit.
Wait, what?
That the State Department website said Donald Trump is no longer president as of, but the as of that it gave was like 8 hours later than the time that this was posted. So everyone was like, what?
Do they know something we don't?
What? Was it a hack? is Trump actually going to resign and they just jumped the gun on on dropping the press release? Of course, that's probably unlikely. I think the story is that it was just a disgruntled State Department employee did it for kicks and giggles. But no matter what, it's just this whole saga is just
strange.
We are in if last year was the Joker-fied society, we are now well into post-Joker-fied society.
Yeah, this is in Batman Beyond, where the Jokers became like the average person yes. was a Joker. That's where we're at.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Just what a crazy week. As far as my personal life goes, nothing has happened. What about y'all?
Two very important things happened. First, I introduced Summer to the concept of Wikipedia races.
Fun.
There's like a dude that is doing them on TikTok, and like everyone's treating it as like a novelty that he's doing it. So apparently people have forgotten about it in the past 10 years since I've been out of college. But Wikipedia races are dope. What you do is you get two people on two different devices to hit random on Wikipedia pages. And then by only clicking links on those Wikipedia pages, you have to swap places, and whoever gets there first wins. And it's real hard because there are a lot of pages on Wikipedia, most of which are like, is this Boom Ba 1941 movie starring Mary Healy, and like random species of beetle you've never heard of. But it's fun and great, and that's how we've been spending our post-kid nights this week. Other really important thing is I started playing Romancing Saga 2, and I first started with 3 because typically with games, the like last big one before a big change is like the good one. They typically like get better until they start getting worse. And Romancing Saga 3 was the last one on the SNES. It's like often talked about as a good one. Everyone says that Unlimited Saga, the next one on the PlayStation, was not as good. So I'm like, let me start at 3. I did not like 3
Saga Frontier was next. 1 and 2, and then Saga and Unlimited Saga, which yes, everyone says sucks. Although it does have one of the best soundtracks of all time. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So I started with Romancing Saga 3, and I did not like it. I bounced off of it a lot, and it's because a very important thing probably was lost in remastering it to the present, but it does not come with an instruction manual, and it does not have any in-game tutorial. It just drops you in. And as you know, Maddy, having played Saga games before, you can't just drop into a fucking Saga game.
No, you really
kind of have to, like, nothing works the way it works in Final Fantasy besides like you might have a turn in battle. That's like basically where it stops. And so it was really opaque. It was asking me to make choices on things when I did not know any of the words in the sentences. It was like Flugenmarga Dugalok or Jigalaga Boogabligi. And I'm like,
you're like, yes.
Okay. Yes. And so I was, but then the most egregious thing is in Romancing Saga 3, the text boxes are speech bubbles. And so John will start talking and he'll fill out his speech bubble. And then Bill will start talking and it'll fill out his speech bubble. Then John will have a response and it will just keep filling out his speech bubble instead of clearing it and starting over.
That's weird.
So it's really weird, makes it really freaking hard to understand what's going on. And so it having light plot because it's a saga game, and Saga is a very systems heavy JRPG. So having light plot that's hard to follow with systems that are impossible to know what's going on without any sort of tutorial, I bounced off of it like maybe an hour in. So I started playing Romancing Saga 2, and it's actually really cool. It has in-game tutorials, so I know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what's going on enough to like, I've looked up like, oh, where do I go next? And it's like, all right, well, you just need to spark blah 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 and then do such and such in R&D and get this. And I'm like, none of that makes sense to me. I just punch things. But so it does have an in-game tutorial to kind of teach you what's going on, and its gimmick as far as Saga games goes is really, really cool, where because normally in Saga games it's like, hey, play one of these 8 character stories, kind of like an Octopath Traveler. But Romancing Saga 2, you start as a king, and whenever you complete your story or die on your story, you then move on to the next, to like your successor, and you keep playing each story like in succession like that. That's a weird straight line, but it is a straight line, so I can wrap my head around it better. And it's just like kind of really cool where it's like, oh, like Gerard has his own special story, and he's the first one you have to play. And then I don't know the next person's name, but next person has their own story that's specific, but all the like side plot stuff, you can do those on either person. So like you can do that as Gerard and keep going on him until you die, or you can end it and go on to the next one, etc. And it's really cool, and I'm liking it so far.
Hell yeah.
What about
I want to hear Eli, but I said I did nothing this week. I do want to say one thing. I started rewatching Breaking Bad. It's the best TV show of all time. We watched the first 3 episodes, me and my friend, and it 100% holds up. And just wow, I haven't been that jazzed on a work of art in ages. And it's weird because it's something I've already seen. God, what an incredible show. It's right off the bat. In fact, I think you get more second time around because you realize just how much the themes and some of its visual motifs and symbols and running threads that show up in later seasons are there from the first episode. Like, it is the show knew like right from the beginning. Like, they're like, these are the main themes of the show. These are the linguistic and the visual motifs. These are the political sort of threads that we're talking about here. My politics have developed a whole lot, and I got to say, the show, great politics so far. It's got a lot of really powerful stuff to say about the obvious things like people not having healthcare and poverty, but it's also got a lot of stuff about the intersection of race and class that so far is like really, really cool. Like Walter White is a relatively more privileged white guy who's deciding to sort of enter the drug business, you could say. And like, yes, he's doing bad, and the collapse of the middle class is a big theme in the show, right? He's one of the he's a middle class person being knocked into the precariat, which sucks. But like, he's not the same. It's not the same when he does it as when like some Mexican teen, maybe Mexican American. No. I think he's actually a child immigrant. When some like DACA teen has to sell drugs because he's super poor, right? Like, that's not the same thing as Walter White with his fancy science education going into the woods with the RV that he had the money to put up, that he had the capital to put up front for that. So, and the show's already dealing with that shit. It's amazing. Holy shit. Anyway, if you've never seen that show, you should watch it. If you've already watched it, watch it again. Okay, that's it for me. That's all I did.
What about you, Eli?
I bought Hades, and then my week disappeared.
Yeah, you did.
It's really, really good. I bought it. When did I buy it? Let me see. I bought it like Friday. I've played it for 19 hours so far.
Wow.
I fucking love this game. And it's really funny because, like, so I saw, or at least I had GDQ on when they were doing the speed run. I didn't actually pay that much attention to it because I think I was working at the time.
Oh, yeah. On top of everything, this was GDQ week.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. This week has been a week.
I only watched one run
really
this week.
It was a really good GDQ, too.
Yeah. Did y'all catch the Sonic Mania run?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
dope.
I missed that one.
What's the name of the guy who did that?
I don't remember.
I should give a shout out at the end of the episode. It was like the guy who did Sonic Mania. It was his first GDQ of all time. His first GDQ run. Honestly, new favorite streamer. He's incredible. He talked nonstop like a fire hose the entire run, and it was all fire. Like, it was like explaining what was happening, reacting to what was happening, making like funny jokes. Yeah, and he had this incredible Scottish accent. It seemed very prepared. Like, maybe he was so excited about his first ever GDQ that he like prepared a straight hour of scripted commentary. Maybe that's what it seemed like. Like, he had all these really funny little jokes and gags where he's like, "Oh, Tails, what are you doing? Oh, is he sick?" Or, I'm just making that up, but like, stuff like that. Incredible. Shout outs to that guy. Anyway, sorry, go on. That's the only stream I saw.
Yeah. I caught Golden Sun. It was really good. I caught the whole Sonic block. Was really really good. I caught Wario Land 4, which was surprisingly good. And my super surprising, if you don't watch anything else, go check it out, sort of like underground hit, is Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for the Nintendo DS. Mr. Shasta was on the Mr. Shasta was on the couch, and it's a so the Xbox game Shattered Dimensions is also really good, but it is a level-based action game where you have to do the objectives inside of the level and then you move on to the next one. The DS game is a Metroidvania starring Spider-Man, and that's fucking cool. And dope. It has kick-ass speed tech and a lot of like in other action games, you have like combos and how to like find an infinite combo, and they do a lot of cool stuff with that. The movement is super awesome because it's on the DS, so you only have 8 directional movement. So like most of the stuff is like finding the perfect 45 degree set of 45 degree angle jumps to do with your web zip to like and get around everything. And it was like a really good run, and they were super hyped during it, and it was great. And Mr. Shasta is one of my favorite runners to catch at GDQ. Like I said, I don't watch Twitch unless GDQ is on, but whenever he's on, he's like, his tone of voice is just like, he's your friend, and he's always your friend. And he's really funny, and it's good. And I highly recommend checking that run out because he was on the couch. I forget who the runner was, but they're the only 2 people that run that game. And so they of course begged people to play it at the end, which was awesome.
So my week,
yeah. Sorry.
So anyway, I had caught the Hades run sort of, but I wasn't able to pay that much attention to it because of work. But I had been hearing it was really good. And I was talking to my guildmates in WoW, like there were a bunch of them saying like, I don't even like roguelikes, and I fucking love Hades. So I was like, all right, this is probably worth checking out then. And so I bought it, and yeah, it's really, really fucking good. And I love roguelikes, so I was very pleased with that purchase. That was pretty much what I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eli, actually, I'll ask you, because if I ever actually have enough time to play a game that isn't part of RPG Book Club, again, in my entire life, Hades is probably pretty high on the list at this point, and also have the money to buy a new game and not just replay something I've already played. Is coming from someone who likes roguelikes and aimed at someone, aka me, who doesn't like roguelikes but does love Dark Souls, Hades or Hollow Knight?
Oh, Hollow Knight.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Hades is not number 1 on my list then.
Yeah, Hollow Knight is like, I mean, they're both really, really good games, but it's nearer and dearer to my heart at this point because cool. I put so much into it.
Totally. Just thought I'd get your take.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with all of that, well, let's listen to the Shell 1 music and talk about the plot. when last we left our heroes, we wake up, jump in makeup, and
that's funny.
and we had crashed our airship yet again, and we were chased by Connor. Well, not chased, but like Connor like loomed his head out menacingly at us as we walked our way into Scumtown. And this week we entered Scumtown. Scumtown is cool and
maybe the best town in the game. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, I really like it. It feels like a sci-fi town where all the other ones felt like whatever the fuck Septerra Core was trying to do town. Like the other ones were all like either Western or cyberpunk or something, but this like felt like a Mass Effect type town. Like it felt that sort of sci-fi, which was really cool. But you enter Scumtown because it's the only thing you can do when you wake up, and you don't really know what you're doing because all of your party is missing. You only have the people who are with you at the very end of last week. And for me, that was Led and Badu. Who did you guys have for all of this?
Aram, and oh shoot, I had Badu mostly, but then switched out to.
Well, we couldn't switch out yet, so prior to switch out, I guess.
Oh, prior to switch out, then yeah, Aram and Badu.
I have locked into Aram and Badu, and honestly, it's a great party combo. So once I got my party back, I stuck with it. And later when we got a new party, I'll just go ahead and let you know. Later when we got a new party member, I had a very hard time deciding, but I decided I just couldn't get rid of Aram. Being able to attack two enemies at once if they're in a line is so good. So when we get the new party member,
fast.
Yeah. So when we got the new party member later, he did replace Badu. Badu is amazing and hits so awfully hard, but I had to pick someone to replace with my new character, so that was my party. A new character, Aram and Maya, and remain that way for the rest of the game, and honestly we'll probably continue to that way for the rest of the game because, you know, it kind of takes time and effort to switch parties and figure out new strategies. So great party. Highly recommended.
And jumping ahead all the way to the end of this week, there's a new like young-ish named character with a unique portrait.
She's definitely
looks like she might join our party, but we're out of slots on the party screen, so I don't know if that means somebody's going to die or if they're going to make a scroll bar or what, but we're out of spots.
There has been one time where there was a scroll bar.
Okay, so maybe we'll have a scroll bar, but she definitely looks like she'll join the party. And as you recall from a couple weeks ago, game UI is spoilers, so there's a chance that someone will die to make room for the obvious party member we're going to meet in a bit.
Next week. One of these characters will die.
Yes. So you get in Scumtown and you're just kind of let to walk around, and one of the first NPCs you talk to is like, Maya comes up, is like, "Hi, I'm Maya," and he goes, "Oh, a guy was looking for you." And you're like, "Well, who was it?" He's like, "I don't know, but he left over the mountains that way." And you then can go over there, or you can explore all of Scumtown. And I explored all of Scumtown to see what the fuck was going on. And so the main things you find out is that that Connor and his pirates basically run things around there, and everyone keeps like in Connor's good graces by giving him tribute. That tribute is tattooed slave girls, and
like you do,
who are tatted up like the goddess
Kira.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you talk to one of the people at the docks, and he's like, "You can't get through without a shipping manifest." So you talk to another guy, and he has a shipping manifest. He was like, "You'd have to steal it from me," and I did not have anybody with steel with me, so I could not do that. So I have to find my party.
This scene is hysterical. Oh my god! You'll tell us what it is later, of course, when we get there. It's so good,
but it's so good. So I continued looking around, and I found a tattoo parlor, and so I asked her about getting slave girl tattoos, and she was like, well, you can I can give you a permanent one, or I can give you a temporary one, but I'm all out of ink, and I make my ink from swamp Helgak blood or something like that. And
which is gross.
And I'm like, I don't want that injected into my body, but I guess I will. And
what are you, an anti-vaxxer?
No, I'm a anti gross things on my body.
That's fair. I think that's pretty fair, actually.
And so so I got my tattoo. I think that's the last important bit. So well, I didn't get my tattoo. I learned that I needed to get a tattoo. So you leave Scumtown, and there is a big ass marsh with a lot of things you can explore, but nothing you can actually do yet.
I want to make a comment here. I want to make a little nitpicky comment here that I find hilarious. This place is called, the whole place is called like the something mire, the deep mire, the dark mire, something like that. You click on it. It's one of those places that has its own little sub-world map. And inside the world map is 3 different places, which are called, they all have an adjective, but they're like the something swamp, the something marsh, and the something mire. I think it's hilarious how they use 3 different synonyms for the same fucking thing, but also this is all inside of something that is called a mire. So inside the mire, there is both a swamp, a marsh, and another mire. Anyway,
yes,
it's funny.
It's so good, but you can't really do anything there. I explored, and I did see a ship landing.
You get the green
pad
leaf here.
I get there later, but when you need it. But yes, you can find the green leaf here, but you can't do anything with it yet. But I did find a landing pad, which some of the NPCs were like, oh, Connor's people are out on this island over there, no way in or out, and that's the only way off the shell. So seeing this landing pad out here, I'm like, well, obviously there is something else going on here, but you can't do it yet. So I make my way in the other direction, over the mountains, have a real easy, tiny little 2-screen dungeon, make my way to this other town. I forget what it's called. It is probably not important. It's
what
called
are you talking
Prano.
about? Prano, literally all that happens is you find your party members.
I know. That's I was about to talk about. I just couldn't remember the name of it.
Oh, well, you were saying you couldn't remember if there's anything important in it. And the intro.
Oh no, yeah, not really. But that's where you get your party, and so they're like, "Oh, you're alive," and like, "Yeah, we barely survived." And Selena apologizes, like, "I thought I could change him," and Corrigan is like, "She'll just do it again," and
she's like, "Yes."
And so everyone's like, "Yeah, we got here on a ship," and Maya's like, "We have a ship? Let's get the fuck out of here." She's like, "No, they just dropped us off." And I'm like, "Okay, well then how are we going to get off world?" So now the only important thing that happens here is you get your people back and you get your quest. You're trying to get off world. So we try and do that. So now that we have access to our thieves, I don't know if the scene is. It sounds like all of us used Aram for this next scene. I wonder what the scene is like with Runner, but because it's hilarious. And if I had been doubling my saves, I would go back and try it with Runner. But now that we have our thieves, we can go go back to a guy that has a shipping manifest. It's like, you'd have to be a good thief to steal it from me or whatever. And Aram is just like, "Hey, what's that over there?" And the guy turns around and Aram just walks behind him and grabs a shipping manifest. He's like, "What? I didn't see anything." And Aram's like, "Oh, I must have been seeing something," and just leaves. And
yeah, it's really great.
And like, if this was like a cartoon or a movie, it'd be like kind of funny. But because it's pre-rendered sprites, right? It's literally like, it's so clunkily done. Like the NPC, he says, "What's that over there?" The NPC does a fucking 180, and then Aram, like the little sprite goes doot, 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 walks in and then walks back, and then he's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, nothing." It murdered me. I fucking died. It's so good.
Like, like Aram is great, but his walk animation is very much like that the footage of Sasquatch, and so like him like lumbering over to grab it. It's just this, like he walks
like that fucking picture of John Lennon. You know what I'm talking about.
It's
yeah.
I don't at all, but it's okay. So we get Aram, and then Aram, as we mentioned last week, knows everything and everybody, and he mentions that he has a friend named Lobo on this world, so of course he's staying in our party. So we take a shipping manifest to the guard, and we're like, all right, let's go in and let's hightail it on the ship. And he's like, okay, everything's good. And so we go up to the door, and it's locked, and we can't get through without being able to unlock it. So we're kind of up a creek. But as we talk to all of the people, they're mentioning that the shipments of these slave girls go through that door to be taken over to Connor. And we're like, okay, well, if Connor has a way in and out, we'll try and get there. So we take Aram with us to try and find his friend Lobo, and we go back to the swamp. And there in the swamp, we find the swamp Helgak, but we can't do anything with it. We also found the green leaf that Matt mentioned earlier, and we also find Lobo. Lobo is a Genome robot that has become sentient and is he thinks of the person who helped him gain sentient as his dad, and he's like, hey, Connor killed my dad, so I want to kill Connor. I have a ship. You help me kill Connor. You can have my ship.
Tiny plot detail I want to mention, just because people might want to know. He's become sentient because, like in a lot of sci-fi, he has some kind of like restraining chip that robots have, and it got like removed or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's the thing you can do in this fiction.
Yes, and so and so we're like, okay, we'll kill Connor for you, and you can ask him about like how to do that. And he again mentions the slave girls, and so I got to get some gross shit and slather it all over my body. I need to figure out how. So the only bullshit part of this puzzle is you have to buy meat from the store, but it's the store in the town where you probably were in there buying armor because you were in a new town. So it's not as bullshit as going all the way back to Shell Goddamn 3. But,
and at this point we've learned, anytime we go to a new store and there's some dumb item that we have no idea what it does, just buy one.
Buy it. Just buy one, just in case. And so we buy some meat. And then we can take the meat over to the swamp where there are some leeches, and you throw out the leeches. They're distracted by the meat, so you can capture them alive. Because the tattoo parlor girl, when she talked about it, she was like, "Yeah, we would use leeches to suck up the blood from the swamp Helgak, so we won't have to like kill it and like Dimmu Borgir or kill a sheep on the edge of the stage and just let its blood fall out." Type thing with all these Helgak, you just use leeches, and
we don't destroy the whole environment, which is cool.
Yeah, so you try to take the leeches over to the swamp Helgak, and Maya's like, it's no good, it's too far away, we need to lure it here. Some NPC in town, I forget who, mentions that swamp Helgak like to feast on the eggs of land Helgak, so you try to find a nest. That nest is up in the mountains that you crossed earlier unimportantly, that 2-screen dungeon I mentioned. It has a 3rd screen down to the south where there's a Helgak nest. You try and take the eggs from the nest, and you have a short boss fight. It's extremely short for me and Eli because we pressed the win button.
Yeah,
short for me too. It's a very one of those. Is this really even a boss, or is it just a kind of hard bad guy? But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you kill it dead, and you steal its babies, and you take them with you. And so now you're like, okay, well, let me give the egg to the Helgak, and it still won't take it. And you're like, okay, I need to do something. And so you check the green leaf that you found, and it is a sleep leaf. It's used to make sleep medicines. And so you try to use the sleep medicine, and it doesn't do it. in the shipping manifest room where you stole it from the guy, there's a drill on the floor. So the solution is you get the egg, you drill it, you drain out the gunk, you fill the egg with sleep medicine, then you give it to the Helgak. So the Helgak will come up, eat on it, fall asleep. Then you can use the leeches on it, get the ink, take it back to the tattoo parlor and get your slave girl tattoos. And
quick question, where the fuck do we get the drill?
I just said it's on the floor of the shipping manifest guy's room.
Oh, sorry, I must have spaced out. Yeah. No, I just noticed I had it one day.
Yeah. So then we take it back to her and we get our temporary tattoos. It does not change even our face sprite. So it's kind of like messed up. When we ask people about it, it is a picture of Maya with slave girl tattoos. We never really talked about the UI in the screen, but in this game, but instead of like in Fallout and Knights of the Old Republic and Dragon Age, etc., where you have like, it'll say like 5 sentences that you pick, you just have icons to like ask about topics. And the topic for tattoos is Maya in slave girl tattoos, but you never get to see that in game until she just gets palette swapped with one of the other. She's not actually even palette swapped. It's just 2 of the exact same model when you use it here in a second. But we take our tattoos back to Lobo. We're like, hey, we got a disguise. We're going to use it and get inside Connor's space. And Lobo's like, okay, cool, but I'm coming with you. So which one of your party members do you want me to bring with you so we can go kill Connor? And it was kind of, I've never seen this happen.
Me either. So cool.
Like, I think Final Fantasy VI kind of does this. Like, you can I think this
counts as being a different thing.
Yeah, it's like that's the closest thing is in Final Fantasy VI. You like pick which, like you have the party split at the beginning, and then you build your parties at the end. But this is super different. So you're picking your party for a later thing that happens down the line, and it's really cool. Yeah,
they're literally saying, hey, what party do you want to have later? But here's the thing. If another game did this, they would have just had you pick it later. But here, it actually makes plot diegetic sense because you're literally telling this guy, hey, grab these guys and meet me at the rendezvous point later.
Mm-hmm. And especially because this game has dialed in on your characters are not in the airship waiting for you. They are at whatever place you last left them. And they spend like plot shoe leather on how the hell did they get from the bar we left them at 6 hours ago to the new place where we crashed our airship. Like, they're not with you all the time like they are in other RPGs. So it's like, it makes sense. Like, oh, you're going by yourself. You don't just get your party back when you want to. We have to do the thing of what party do you want later down the line. And it doesn't instantly make them your party right now. You set this up to be a thing that happens in the plot future, and then you can change your party at will and do side quests if there are any that you want to. And it's literally just for the next dungeon. And it was really fucking cool.
Such a tiny little thing, but it's so cool.
Yeah. So Lobo gives you the key to that door back at the docks. So you walk through the docks and you reference Star Wars because of course you do. So Maya gets dressed up as a slave girl, and she runs onto Connor's ship, and the slave girl there goes, "Aren't you a little short for a slave girl?" And Maya goes, "Oh yeah, I'm Maya and I'm here to rescue you." And it's great. I love it.
Love a random Star Wars reference for no reason. Never mind that this entire thing is like a Jabba's Palace Star Wars reference.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just conceptually, right? Also, real quick, I just want to say, I managed to do literally this entire side quest. Like, I got every single item in this side quest before I knew what the hell I was doing the side quest for, or got any of the cutscenes telling me what my character's goal was. I just so happened to when I found when the lady said, "Hey, I need this to give you a tattoo," I was like, I guess I need a tattoo. Otherwise, why would she be saying this? And later when I found a sleep leaf, I was like, I guess I need a sleep leaf. Otherwise, why would they be giving me a sleep leaf? And then later I found an egg and I'm like, I guess I'll put the sleep leaf in the egg. And I just did all that. And then after I did all that, I was like, still don't know why I'm doing this or what the plot is, what the plot of the game is. But I solved the puzzle. And then when I finally got the cutscene where Lobo is like, here, go do the thing. Fun fact, in that they had a different version of the writing where he's like,
that's cool.
Oh, you're literally already dressed in tattoo slave girl outfit. Cool. Glad you're prepared.
That's awesome. Yeah, this game is a JRPG, but it has so much, like, obviously Western RPG stuff in it. There's a lot of things that are like systemsy like that, where it's like, oh no, this world exists. You can go and find all these puzzle pieces and do the puzzle before we ask you to. Whereas in, say, a Final Fantasy game or whatever, the chest would like not even be spawned in, or wouldn't even let you into the room where you got the thing until the time. This one's like, no. Here are all of the things you like. It's like emergent gameplay like you would have in a Western RPG, but it's like emergent in the what order do you tell yourself this story, which is kind of really cool. It's a way different feeling than we normally get from the games on the podcast. But so we get into Connor's place, and some dorks show us off to Connor, and he's like, "Ooh, what a fine tribute this month! Finer than Kira herself." And go prepare her for me. And they take you into a cell, and you change out. I don't know how she got away with bringing her guns and a bunch of stuff. She's literally in like a slave Leia outfit. Don't know where she hid it.
They said they had some kind of sneaky plan to smuggle it in. So maybe they just hid a box in the box where what's supposed to be in the box is her sexy outfit, her other sexy outfit that's like extra, like her weird lingerie or something. Like they did explain it, but in a way that like sure, they fucking did it, whatever. Yeah.
But put you in jail, and because like I said, this is a Japanese role playing game. You still get all your swords when you're in jail. This is the Rogue Galaxy jail where they put you in jail and you're fully armed all the way to the teeth. So you plow your way out of.
Oh wait, no! Did you not miss it? There's a box with all that stuff in it.
Yeah, there's a box, but it doesn't like how the box got into this particular.
Oh right, but I'm saying it's not like, literally the thing where they throw you in jail with a sword on your back, though. I just was clarifying that. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, you get your stuff out of the box, and you make your way through this dungeon, and it's pretty cool. I'm trying to remember the particulars of this dungeon. I think, this is the one where like you're going to explore to try and find, because the plot that you're trying to do is you're trying to get to an open spot where Lobo can fly his ship. The two of your people can jump down and join you. So you have to find an open space that's like kind of hidden, so you can shoot your flare gun, so he'll know where to come and drop you off. So as you explore, the first bridge that you go over is like has a pressure switch on it or something, and the bridge goes down, so you can't go back the way you came, and you have to like loop around the whole thing, reactivating switches and stuff. And it's a pretty cool dungeon. And so you make it to the place, you shoot the flare, Lobo and Aram come down, and then you make your way through the rest of it, and you come up to Connor's throne room for
you rescue the people.
I thought I rescued the people after.
No. You go up and rescue him, and then after you rescue him, then you go fuck up Connor. Maybe it's non-linear.
Maybe it's non-linear, but either way, at some point you free Lobo's friends, and they all head back to the ship. But we go to kill Connor. No, I think you have to kill Connor first, because he gives you the jail key, and that's how you go and free everybody. You get that key by killing Connor.
I'm just wrong.
Yeah, but so you show up, and Connor's like, Lobo, are you ready to join us? And she's like, wait, aren't you one of my slaves? And Lobo says, my name is Inigo Montoya, and you killed my father, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, basically.
And so then you have a really cool boss fight with Connor. So if you try and hurt Connor, you can't. You do 0 damage to him no matter what you try. And he has these 2 turrets next to him that when you attack them, you don't even do 0 damage. It just looks like nothing happens. And so if you're like me, you're like, what the fuck is going on? And you go and you look up what you're supposed to do. And what you're supposed to do is really cool. Maddie, do you want to explain it since you actually did all the things?
Basically, every time you
I started getting my butt kicked, so I cheated halfway through, but you did the whole thing.
No, well, I was playing RPGs what you're supposed to do, which is if the boss has 2 mooks, you attack the mooks. No, anyway, you attack the mooks, and if you shoot the little turret guns, they rotate. It's like you shoot them and you knock them, and they accidentally rotate, right? They rotate to where they're pointing right at Connor, and then they shoot Connor instead of shooting you. So basically, you just keep hitting them. This game, and this is a mechanic that we're going to see in the next, 4 boss fights, is a cool new mechanic of having to deal with, weird mook gimmicks, but also a mechanic of it not mattering how much damage you do, but how many times you attack something. So the little turrets, it was 3 attacks. You have to hit them 3 times. So you don't charge up your strong attacks. You just hit them with 3 weak attacks. And once you realize that, you can keep on top of it pretty quickly. Sometimes they'll still attack you. Sometimes it's hard to get it just right, but it's not a very hard battle. But that mechanic, again, where you need to hit it 3 times, the numbers don't matter, which you would probably expect given that no numbers show up when you attack it. That's the sign that something weird's going on, is that there's no number that shows up when you attack it. You do that a bunch, and then Connor dies. Also, I want to say Connor is sitting down in his throne room the whole time, which is really extremely cool. Extremely cool guy.
Yeah, he doesn't give a shit that you're there and what you're doing.
He's lounging
to fuck you up. But so you kill Connor, he gives you the jail key, you go to the jail, you free the other Genome robots that are there, and you also can free a lot of normal people, which is cool. And so you get up on your ship and you go, and then Grub, aka still probably the best character in the game, begrudgingly so. I remember not liking him at the very beginning. Oh, of course he's the edgy guy, and he has to be the mage and have the mohawk and all this other cool stuff, but he's actually the best. So he's like, oh yeah, restrainer ships. I used to shoot womp rats out beside of Beggar's Canyon that are bigger than these, and he takes off all the restrainer ships. So now we have a loyal robot army that is loyal to us because we respect their humanity and not because we control their restrainer ships, and it's really cool. And so more importantly than that, Lobo decides to join us and gives us his airship. So now we have an airship, and we can do a shitload of side quests. We don't do any side quests.
The game's, I just want to clarify, the game is completely open-ended. After being all non-linear, after being very linear and jerking us around, we can go to every single shell, and we can go to every single location on every single shell because we just fly to it. It's cool as hell. All of a sudden, the game just poof.
Yeah. And I think you can change your party on the airship. So even that is now.
You can. We don't have to backtrack 4 towns to the one place where the party's hanging out at the bar anymore.
Yeah, everyone now is on the airship, even though they specifically told you that they weren't early. So now they definitely are. So if you not doing any side quests, you just go up to the Chosen Palace on Shell 1, and when you get there, the Chosen are fighting each other. Doscius' forces are fighting Gunner's forces, and because of that, everything is blowed up and shitty. So you get a choice of 3 different parts of town to go through. It's not really important. Nothing really important happens through there. You fix a tank on one of them, and that's kind of cool.
It's just a long 3-part dungeon with locks and keys. Yeah, there's no plot.
Yeah. The one thing that might come up, because it also came up in the next thing, but it's very subtle, I don't know if it's a thing, is several times you would come over to a group of survivors or something, and there would be like chosen soldiers that were all in black. The normal one, the Doskius' forces are silver and blue. Gunner's forces are gold and green. These would be all in black, and they wouldn't say anything. They would just like do some sneaky shit and leave, and they continue to do that in the next dungeon. So maybe that comes up where like, oh, the black faction is the secret bad guys or something. I don't know. I just mention it because it's conspicuous, but we don't know where it goes yet. So
let's not call it the black faction.
So we get through the dungeon, and Gunner is there, and he's like, "Hey, Doskius is in the Emperor's palace. You need to get in there and take him out." And we're like, okay. We stopped his lenses. Isn't he done? Like, what is he going to do? It's like, yes, but we stopped it a little too late, and there was enough light in the core that it's like accelerated its spin, and now we have a week instead of 50 years to get it done. And we're like, well, shit. So
also, we ruined the environment, and the whole planet's gonna die.
Yeah. Forgot that part, but that's a very important part. So
it's very important.
Like, it's the ticking clock. Not only will the bad guy win, but everyone will die. Yeah. So
since you seem to have forgotten this, let me clarify real quick. The problem is now actually no longer Doskius. I'm not saying Doskius isn't the problem, but that's not really the problem anymore, because Doskius failing to do his evil plot again fucked up the balance of the rings and the whole world, and it's eventually going to like tear apart the entire planet. So now our goal is not actually stop Doskius, though of course that's part of it, but it's that because before the goal was nobody should become an ultimate godlike being. No one should do that. We just shouldn't do that, right? But now it's like, no, the only way to stop environmental catastrophe is for Maya to activate it and become the godlike being. So that is actually our goal now. Doskius trying to take over the world is second fiddle to the whole planet's going to fucking blow up.
Yeah. Totally
little important.
On that bit. Yeah, very, very important. But so the first half of the game was, why don't you guys just get one key and destroy it, and then the bad guy can't do the thing? And the second half is, no, you have to get all of the keys so you could.
Good thing we didn't destroy one of them earlier.
Yes. So we asked Gunner if he's going to help, and he's like, no, I have to confront Doskius personally and end his life. And we're like, okay, cool. So what are we going to do? And he's like, well, the Doskius' advisors, the Magi, have the keys. So go into the Emperor's palace, stop his plans, fight the Magi, get some keys. And we're like, okay, cool. Let's go check out the Chosen Palace. I'm sure this won't be a 9-hour dungeon. And it unfortunately is. We don't have a lot of time tonight to talk about.
I don't want anyone to accuse you of exaggerating, so I want to be clear. It is actually a 3.5-hour long dungeon. That is not an exaggeration. I want to explain this real quick. Actually,
it wasn't for me.
I'm the only one who actually played it.
I played it. My cheat codes are not the have all the keys cheat codes. I just do into battle.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
All the adventure game parts.
Explain it real fast then. Yeah. Sorry.
So the dungeon is a hub and spoke, like a fucking Crash Bandicoot hub world, and each of the spokes is a gigantic dungeon, like the size of every dungeon we've done so far. And every time you leave one, the monsters respawn, which is really annoying because the first one you do, you can't actually complete. You have to leave and do something else and then come back to it.
The first two, instead of just you have to like go to spoke A, half of it, then spoke B, and then go back to spoke A to finish it. Although luckily after that point, they stopped doing that.
Yeah, I thought they were all going to do that, and it was going to be like a 9-part dungeon. I was going to rip my hair out.
Thank God it is, I guess, a 4-part dungeon. A, B, A again, C.
Yeah. So you go through them. At the end of each chunk, you fight a Magi. The plot for when you meet a Magi is literally, hey, it's one of Doskius' Magi, and then you fight, and that's it.
I'm going to talk about the plot. I'm going to talk about the boss gimmicks really fast. One of them.
Go for it.
The Magi shows up, and then after a bit of attacking, he disappears, and he makes 3 little orbs show up. The 3 orbs, it's that thing where you got to kill all 3 of them at the same time. It's kind of tough because they seem to vary in how much health they have. or I was just doing a bad job. I don't know. It was tough, but I managed to swing it. Also, that Magi happens to be really weak to magic and very, very, very strong to physical. So 2 different gimmicks got to figure out. Second one, the Magi is sitting there, and he has, again, 3 orbs. And every time you attack the orbs, they go toward him. And it's a number of attacks, not amount of damage. So you hit the orb 3 times and it gets closer to him and then hit them. If you attack him, not only does it not do anything, but he does a counter attack that kills your whole party. So you know you did it wrong. So that's a real fun one. It's actually really fun because what's his name? Aram can, with his range, because of the spacing of the characters, his attack is going to hit all 3 of them at once. So hit all 3 of them and then you hit him a few more times. It's a really fun one. The third one also had 3 orbs. They had different colors, and I think you got to attack them in a certain order or something. I wasn't able to figure it out, but I did manage to beat the battle. Luckily, it wasn't one of those you figure it out or you die. It was like, here's a complicated situation, and you just got to win the battle. So I did it. It was great. Really, really best bosses in the game so far. Here's the thing about this dungeon. The only problem with it is that it's too long. I actually love the design of it. I enjoyed the mobs. The graphics are beautiful. It's a whole palace. You got all these different sections of the palace, right? You got the cellar and the wine cellar and the prison and all this stuff. It's honestly a fantastic dungeon, except it is objectively just no dungeon should be this long. It is too much of a muchness. But as we'll realize, they get a little bit of a pass because this is, in fact, I believe, the end of the second act. This is like the fake ending of the game. You know what I mean? Like the floating continent kind of thing. That's what this is. So of course they're gonna amp up the drama with a super long dungeon. That's my spiel. Yeah. Actually, a great dungeon, but also too long.
Yeah, because if you remember, the game started with us learning about the Emperor and setting up Doskius, and now we are going to try and save the Emperor from Doskius. It's like, this is end of disc 1. You didn't even know there was a disc 2. You said, the floating continent moment. So it's really, really cool. And it's awesome that this is the literal halfway point of the game, at least according to the Let's Play, which is super cool. So at the end of all of this, you get a cutscene after you kill all 3 Magi, and you see Doskius. And
you don't kill the Magi; they run off. That's important.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, they run off at the end of each of those battles, and so because I remembered them gloriously exploding, but that happens in a second.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they actually hilariously go like whoop and just like fly off through the ceiling. It's actually very funny.
Yeah. So we get a cutscene where we see Doskius, and he's like, and Gunnar shows up, and Gunnar's like, I'm going to kill you. And Doskius is like, yeah, but don't you recognize my weapon? And Gunnar's like, holy shit, it's Gimma's blade. As you recall, Gimma and Marduk have backwards name. Marduk sounds like a demon, but he's the good guy. Gimma sounds like a normal guy. He's the bad guy. So he has Satan's blade and not Jesus's blade. And he's like, yeah, so I have this sword. It's I'm going to use it to kick your ass. And he's like, Gunnar's like, you're using the power of hell to do what you say is for the power of heaven. And he's like, well, he's like, I'm the descendant of Marduk. I can do no wrong. I'm the savior. As you remember, Marduk captured Gemma's forces and used them. This is the same thing. Gunnar's like, you're mad, and he fucking kills Gunnar. So then Doski's like, nothing stands in the way except for the Emperor, and we then go to see the Emperor. The Emperor's daughter is hot. And like, not like how in the first episode I was like, oh, Selena would be hot in a different art style. Like, they managed to make Alyssa actually hot.
I feel like she's more cute than hot, but she is she looks great. She looked good looking girl.
She looks great. Yeah. So she's like, Father, come on, let's escape. And he's like, no, I must confront with honor. And she's like, then I'll stay with you. Goes, if we both die here, we have no heirs, and our line ends today. You have to go for the good of the kingdom. She runs off, and the Magi show up and fucking own the Emperor in his bitch ass and knock him down. knock him down this big tube that he apparently like hangs out over, and it's weird. I never noticed. I always thought that was like,
hey, what if I put
ground.
a giant tube in the middle of my throne room? What if I just did that?
I always thought it was like something on the floor, but no, it is a giant tube. So we rush in a little too late and have to fight the Magi all three at once.
Weirdly easy fight. It's weirdly really easy.
Wild.
Actually, it wasn't that easy. It was a real fight, but I thought it was going to be a lot harder.
Yeah. When you kill a Magi, they explode into tiny pixels, and it's great. And it feels good.
Actually, I will share the gimmick. I don't know the full gimmick. It could be a more complicated battle than this. But if you attack one of the Magi, the one on the top, I just happened to attack that one first because I felt like it. If you attack the one on the top, he like kind of explodes, and it hurts one of the other ones as well. Dope. So those two went down real fast. Basically, they don't have a lot of health. You hit them hard. They also hit you really hard, though. At this point, they're hitting you for like between 50 and 100 points of damage every attack. But you just heal, you hit them, battle's over, bada bing, bada boom. Fun, really fun. I, again, love the bosses this week. Go on.
Nice. So the Magi's drop one of the keys to the core. We pick it up, and we literally say, this must be one of the keys that Gunnar spoke of. And you turn around and there's chosen soldiers, and you're like, we're trapped unless we jumped. I can't let them have this key. And then you jump through the hole. You see the Emperor's body just like tossed over like it's fucking nothing, and no one has any conversation about it at all. If Selena is in your party, she does turn around at him before she runs off. But other than that, it's just, oh, hey, the Emperor's dead body. Cool. And you just leave, and it's awesome. And so you leave, and it takes you to the world map and tells you literally nothing. So I have no idea what we're going to do next week.
Which is very cool, actually. I know we haven't even listened to music yet, but I have to go. I have a single mem mom, except here's the thing. My single mem mom is actually from a scene that could easily have just showed up next week, because it's a scene that is after you get the airship. So I'll tell you all next week.
Cool. I don't have any min moms this week. Eli, you said you had one. Let's close it out with your one min mom.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, I wanted to say, Maya says, when the word ecstatic came up, Maya said ecstatic. It really bothered me.
That's how Sam would say it, I feel like. Sam, you know how you have like a weird accent sometimes?
Yeah, it's weird.
I feel like you'd say ecstatic.
I have very much like a Mason-Dixon, like not too Southern, not too Northern accent, and then out of nowhere, I just say dumbass shit like button and ecstatic.
See, you just said it. That's how you would have said it.
It's ecstatic. But yeah, so Aram says, when you're talking to the tattoo parlor lady, and you talk to her with Aram, he says, I had a tattoo on my right arm. The shopkeeper says, what was it? And he goes, you don't want to know. And I'm just like, why did you even bring it up then?
What a weird thing to say. What? Was it offensive? What?
It was just a big dick.
You bitch. Maybe it was really, really embarrassing. Maybe it was like his ex. Maybe it was his ex-girlfriend. And actually when his arm got blown off, he was like, well, at least I don't have that tattoo anymore.
You should get this reference. It said Mom.
Yes, I do get that reference.
Yes.
Okay, so real quick, we are stopping right after we decide to go split the party into two and go and fight Doskius.
A split party.
It'll be a big deal when we split the party. And Doskius does a big scary thing, and we're like, well, the only way we can stop the scary thing is if we split the party, and we're going to save right there and talk.
So we decide to split the party. We don't actually go and do anything after that. We just do that.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And other than that, I am Sam Allman.
I am Sailor Eli Warren.
And I'm Maddy Webb, and I'm only going to be like 1 minute late to this meeting. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.